got you there, huh, listeners? I'm just kidding. Welcome to another episode of We Just Wanna. In this episode, it being the month of October, we gonna go do something a little spooky. So in this episode, we're gonna actually talk about superstitions, supernatural stories, and anything just super spooky. You guys down?
In time for Halloween.
Yes. Ooh.
It's actually funny though, because I think the three of us are like pretty like scaredy cats,
Scaredy.
Yes.
but
that is
like
fact.
there's also just that one time when we went to Disneyland and you guys were just listening to those like crime junkie podcasts, and I'm like, are these people not scared? Like I'm like imagining the stories. Y'all are not freaking out. So let's see how this episode goes with us actually telling our own stories and stuff.
Yes, let's do it.
Let's do it.
I mean, so I guess we'll just start with like superstitions. I know all three of us, we have like different Asian backgrounds, and now our Asian backgrounds got like all these weird superstitions, I guess. Do you guys believe in it? Which one do you guys do believe in? Which ones are your crazy ones? What's up?
I mean, yeah, I grew up pretty superstitious. So when I was growing up in Malaysia, my grandma was actually really, really superstitious. Like, for example, she wouldn't let me go to a new place if we went to go camping or something on a beach. She's always going to say like a prayer to the spirits of the place that we're at and be like, hi, like, we're just here visiting. We're not going to bother you. We'll be home soon. Um, or like, I can't sit at a different dinner seat. Otherwise, I'm gonna have two husbands, depending on if I switch seats too much. So,
In your kitchen table? Your kitchen table?
no,
Or
like just
anywhere?
like anywhere. So like if I sit down in one spot, I have to stay in that spot. Otherwise, like if I get up to get water and then I sit in another spot, that means I'm gonna have two husbands. Or if I get up and get cola and then sit in another spot, I'm gonna have three husbands. I don't know. Does that make sense?
Ooh,
That doesn't
yeah.
sound too bad.
Not much. So yeah, pretty superstitious.
Yeah, my family is pretty superstitious as well. There are some Chinese or Taiwanese, actually Chinese, superstitions that I know my dad follows. So there, so you guys know that I had brain surgery, and because of me having my whole brain situation, my dad thought, our family has some bad luck.
Oh,
So yeah, so when we needed to redo the flooring for my parents' master bedroom, my dad didn't want to do the flooring until it was like a good day. Like it's all like internal to him, but like he was just like, okay, is it a good day where I would have good luck to do the flooring project? And then and so he wouldn't do the flooring project until he felt that day that, oh, today is a good day to do the flooring project, just based on like what I went through. So that was like something superstitious that he believed in. um Also, just as a general like Chinese tradition, um what I looked up, and actually I hear it from my parents a lot, is having the number 6 or 8 are considered lucky numbers. And that just kind of reminds me of like my phone number, because my phone number has this number 6 and 8 like more than once. So in Taiwan, it's actually considered lucky to have those numbers either in your phone number or in your license plate. So sometimes people would pay more just to have those numbers in their phone number or license plate. So I thought that was really interesting, and I hear it from my parents all the time. Um, and and then on the other hand, the number 4 is considered bad luck, because the in Chinese, when you say 4 in Chinese, it's pronounced si. But then if you say the Chinese word for death, it's si. So it sounds like a
Oh, so
similar
they're
word.
close.
Yeah, it sounds very similar. So then if you had like the number 4 in your phone number or your home address, then that's considered like bad luck.
Mm.
So yeah, that was like something really interesting. And then something that I personally experienced in terms of superstition is that when I first moved into my current house with my roommates, we actually blessed the house by bringing in like we had to go in all at the same time, holding a jar of rice,
Yeah.
um, a
Salt,
jar
right?
of
Like that.
salt, and then a jug of water. And then when we walked in together with those 3 items, my roommate Kristen would sprinkle salt in front of the entryways or each door or the garage, because it's basically like shunning away any like bad aura or bad ghost from coming into our house when we first moved in.
I think that's similar to like a Filipino superstition too, because we have those 3 exact things in a little jar to this day, like in our altar.
Mhm.
And then um when I was in the Philippines, my dad would say always say tabi tabi po, because then you're kind of like if you're going to a place that you're unfamiliar or it seems kind of like scary, when you say that
Mhm.
you're kind of like wishing all the demons to go away. And I'm like, he's like, make sure you say that wherever you go. I was like, okay. It's like, because then the demons are gonna follow you. I was like, okay, so I'll for sure say that. So I always hear my dad kind of like humming that for us. I'm like, oh dang, what is that? But it's kind of crazy how our superstitions are kind of similar. I'm not sure if it's like a whole Asian thing or if it's like we just took it from like another culture or whatever.
Yeah, the whole blessing the house was it was from Kristen's old roommate who was Filipino. So I think it
Oh,
is a
okay.
Filipino tradition. We didn't do it because of like, I don't know. I think Kristen was just so used to it because she
Yeah.
lived with a lot of Filipino roommates. So she was just like, let's bless the house together. And I was like, okay, I've never done it before, but I'm not opposed to it. So it was good. So
Okay. I was gonna say like, whoa, we're pretty similar, but yeah, it makes sense because she did
yeah.
have old Filipino roommates to have those Filipino superstitions. But hey, man, those work. The house is good. We live in. Knock on wood. All that. I don't know, but yeah, I see you. Trying to think of another one. So you know how like when there is funerals, I don't know if you guys know this, but if there's like a funeral, you guys are not supposed to go straight home because the spirits can follow you. So every time, like the few times I did have to go to a funeral, I would go to like Starbucks or like a Wiener Schnitzel or somewhere just to cool down the spirits, and then I'll go home. My parents was like, never go home before the funeral. I'm like, okay, excuse for me to go
Yeah.
out. Just kidding.
Before
Rest in
or
peace.
after? After.
After, yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
How many times have you done that where you went to a funeral and went somewhere else?
All the funerals that I've been to, I've done that,
Wow.
and it was kind of crazy. Like funerals in America and funerals in the Philippines are like 2 completely different like rituals. Like the Philippines, I want to say, is the one of like the most superstitious place you can ever go to. I swear to God. When I went to the funeral in the Philippines, so they actually have the wake of the body at the house, and someone is always supposed to be awake during the wake so the spirit doesn't roam around. Isn't that fucking crazy? I
Mm.
was like, oh my gosh. And I remember like my sister, she fell asleep and she got like, they said like the spirit was in her because she was like shaking and all that during her sleep. And I was like, oh my god, she needs to wake the fuck up. And I was like, she was like 10 and I was 8. And I was like, oh my god. They make her drink all this green tea. They put all this shit on her. I'm like, oh my god, what the fuck is happening? 8 years old. And then even then, when we were there, after the funeral, we had to walk through like I don't exactly remember, but we had to walk through like stones and jump through like a little flame in the case like so the spirit doesn't follow us. And then if the youngest baby is there, like who attended the funeral, they have to like be carried over the casket so they don't get haunted by the body. And I witnessed all of these. I'm like, fuck, this is like fucking true. It scared the fuck out of me. I think
Oh
like
my
when you
gosh.
hear something and then when you actually like experience that superstition, it's like it's different, you know?
Hmm.
Yeah.
it makes you believe it more once you like don't do something and then something happens based on that
Yeah.
superstition. So you're just
Yeah.
like, oh, I must do it now.
So you guys believe it. So you guys believe in like ghosts and spirits. Like it's not just physical. There's also the metaphysical.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah,
I
I
believe in
believe in
the
ghosts.
good karma, the bad karma, the flojo of energy. I believe in all of that. Oh, I'm a big believer on the energy. Yeesh! Cannot have bad energy around me, people.
So like besides like the whole like superstition things, like was there any ghost encounters that you guys had? And like I don't know, was it like as dramatic as the movies were, like Annabelle or like The Conjuring, like that
Ooh.
extreme?
So I can start because my uncle recently told me a story back in his Marine days.
Uh-huh.
So we were talking about my great grandparents on my mother's side. We were just like talking about them, and then my uncle was like, back when he was a Marine in Afghanistan, he was in a kind of like a desert where he was about to cross enemy lines in Afghanistan. And so it was very dark. It was pitch black. You can't see anything. You can't have like the flashlights on just to see because then your enemy would see you. So he was crossing enemy lines and it was really cold. And then he had to like just sit there and wait. And he had his other teammates around him, but he didn't know where they were because they just had to remain silent. So this was like in the late night, early morning. So they were like
Mm-hmm.
really, really tired. And I think they've been up for like almost 48 hours. So he basically was in the pitch dark and he couldn't move and he couldn't fall asleep because if he falls asleep, then like if the enemy finds him, then he would die.
Yeah.
But so basically, he was trying to stay awake because he's been awake for a while, and he was like starting to like doze off, and then all of a sudden, my great grandpa like showed up in his mind, and he didn't know if he was delusional or he like was hearing stuff, but then he just heard heard my great grandfather, which is like his grandfather, um, to stay up, and he was just like, don't fall asleep, you need to stay up. And it was just like in the tone where like he didn't realize that it was him until he heard his voice. He was like, oh shoot, that's him. And then so he like, because he was so freaked out that his voice came on, that he like woke up. And then he like, and to this day he like thanks his my great grandfather for like keeping him alive during that time, because if he fell asleep he would have died.
Damn.
Yeah, it's
Mm.
crazy.
Okay, so I don't really have like a ghost story, but there was one time, uh, I guess me and my family, or it was like a random party, I guess, and an exorcist came and he performed because like we're Catholic, so like exorcisms are kind of like are known. So I remember having an exorcist come, and everyone was just standing around, and the exorcist was like doing this thing, and then bam, three people dropped. It was the most scariest thing ever. I was like, I want to say like 16, 15, 16 at the time. So like those two people just dropped, and then another person dropped, and another person dropped, and I was like, holy crap! And then he did the whole voodoo, like not voodoo, obviously, because Catholics, we don't believe in that, but he did his whole like say the prayer, exorcist thing. And then when I asked my cousin like, oh dude, what did you feel? He's like, oh, I just felt like I was talking to all these people and like getting the answers, but not the answer that he wanted, I guess. He's like saying random facts, and then was like, oh my god, yeah, we were always wondering that, so I was like, oh no. But yeah, that was kind of freaky, just seeing like people just drop, and then and then they do the big old that gasp. Oh god, that scared the fuck out of me.
Wait, so why was the exorcist there in the first place?
I have no. I
At a birthday
don't.
party.
It was. It wasn't.
Yeah.
I don't. I don't think it was a birthday party. I think it was a goodbye party. So I think they
Goodbye,
invited.
goodbye to
The,
the world.
no, like it was
Goodbye
like
to your
a.
demons.
Yeah, it was a bon voyage party because they were leaving the state or country, and then they're like, I guess someone invited an exorcist there, and but this extra, like, I didn't know. I know who the person was, so I didn't know that he was an exorcist. I just know him as like an uncle, right? And then he's like, oh yeah, everyone just gather around. We're gonna do this little prayer. We're gonna perform this, and I'm like, what the fuck, bro? I was just here to eat pussy and like have a good time. I was not, and then but those three people that dropped, they said they don't remember like them dropping. They just remember, like having like like a little conversation. I was like, can't be me. Fuck that.
Is it exorcism or is it hypnotism?
They said it was exorcism because like they were doing the whole. It wasn't like hypnotism. There was actually like we had a prayer. It's like he was like a certified exorcist.
Okay. No,
Can
it's
you
just
be a certified exorcist?
Because
there's certain hours you gotta put in there. You gotta exercise.
He's done.
You just gotta take an online course,
yeah. I actually want to look up how to become an exorcist. Exorcism. I need to look up how. I guess like because when you go through priesthood and like sister, how to become a nun, but like how do you become an exorcist? I gotta look that up. I gotta know. I'm too scared.
So is this part of preschool, priest school, where like part of becoming a priest is to learn how to do exorcisms?
No, it's just like it's a practice. It's a religious practice. So like it is kind. It's not like you have to do exorcism to become a priest. It's just another like religious practice to take away all the demons out. And then when they told me that they take out their demons, I was like, so are those three people the most demonic people I've ever met in my entire life? Because then I ain't trying to associate with people who, get a hello from the devil.
I know.
I can't do that. My spirit is good. The devil ain't saying hi to me today. But yeah,
that was crazy.
That's my only like weird demon, witches, ghost type of flow.
Okay. Yeah, no, that's insane. So like you guys, I do believe in like superstitions and spirits and all that stuff, but I do believe there's good and the bad. I know the bad always gets like the most attention. Like, I mean, I'm like such a scaredy cat. So, but there was an instance where when I was in Malaysia, so it was just me, my mom, and my sister. My brother wasn't born yet, and then my dad was always working out of town. So it's always just us three girls in the house by ourselves. And I guess there was one day where all three of us got really, really sick to the point where we had to stay and sleep in the living room together because the bedrooms were just stuffy and like my mom had to take care of both me and my sister. So so we just slept in the living room, and literally the next morning we were all better. Like it was as if like we were never sick at all. Like it was insane. Like imagine if you had like really bad breathing problems. I had asthma, and then like I just couldn't breathe, and like I was coughing, and it was horrible. And then the next day, like we wake up fine, and then and I was like, Mom, did you give us like some medicine or something? And then she's like, oh no, but I dreamt that there was a spirit, but she was a nurse, like the old school nurse, like with the the old school uniform, and she just kind of like
with the red plus sign and all that.
I don't know if that's like European style.
Oh yeah, that's like
I don't know what
American type. Yeah, I got you.
So she said that she just kind of like watched over us for a little bit, and then she just disappeared, and so she just thought I was a dream. But the fact that like we were just so much better the next day, like she's like, I think the lady just helped us. So I was
It's
like,
not someone you know or someone she knew.
No.
Did you guys take medicine?
No, we didn't take medicine. I mean, we took medicine, but like, I mean, honestly, Malay medicine was just like a Tylenol. You know, like it's not like
Yeah.
it's like amazing or like really great antibiotic or something. And plus it's asthma, so I'm like literally heaving. Um yeah, I don't know. That was like the fastest recovery that I've had. And but I do believe like there's good spirits out there, like, you know, like your great grandfather helping your uncle out, or like um but I am very careful. Like I don't fuck with like Ouija boards or anything. Be like, let
Mm-mm.
me summon. Let me
You
summon.
can't catch me with that.
Yeah,
Uh-uh.
I would not do that either. I'm not curious enough to see if I can summon a ghost, because once you have that ghost come to you, you don't know if it's going to go away on its own.
Or like you don't know if it's good or bad. Like they can pretend
Yeah.
like it's good or something. That's what I heard. And
Hmm.
or like they can pretend like, oh, they know you and give you like all these like stories of when you were growing up, but a psychic might be like, oh, maybe they're just holding your ancestors hostage to get information. I don't know.
Right?
Shit like that.
Have you or your family members ever dream of like other family members that have passed away?
I mean, it's probably a good story, but so when I was in the Philippines, right? I don't know if you guys know this, but on the last second to the last day, we threw like a goodbye party for us, right? And one of like the band was playing like a really sad song, and all of a sudden a brown butterfly pops up on like our window, and then the next moment I see my mom and she starts crying and she goes, "Oh my God, those are my parents!" And then she's like thinking of that, and she's like, yeah, because I was trying to whisk away the butterfly. I'm like, oh, go outside, because it was inside the house. My mom's like, no, those are my parents right there in the form of a butterfly. And I was like, oh, okay. And that butterfly stayed like around like that area the whole time of the party. Like it followed my mom, it followed her sister, and then followed her both of her sisters and my mom. It kept like following the three of them, and I'm like, dang, that's definitely my grandparents right there. And it was pretty crazy because the butterfly stayed at my house until I finally like left for the airport. Like it was there for 2 days
Wow.
until I finally left. And my parents were like,
Oh.
okay, the butterfly will follow you back home to make sure you're safe. Because I was flying back to America by myself. So it was just like crazy how that butterfly kind of showed up when I was about to leave, and was kind of guiding me until I finally left and got home safely. Because literally when I got home, there was a fucking another butterfly, and I'm like, oh, that's Lola. Thank you guys for driving me, making sure I was good back home. And I told my parents and my aunts, and they're like, dude, that's crazy. They're really with
Oh,
you.
that's cute.
Oh.
I
I would
know.
maybe.
I need to level out the scariness of the podcast people. So I need a good supernatural story going on.
Yeah, yeah, I know. Honestly, like I would hear like all these folklores, but like, you know, when you grow up, you kind of forget or like you kind of dismiss it because
Mm-hmm.
when you're smaller, it just seems so much scarier, or like you think that like, oh, it's just your mom and dad messing with you. But then when you grow older, you're like, yeah, they're for sure just messing with us. So when I was like looking it up and like researching for this podcast, I literally had to stop. I was like, I can't do this by myself because this shit, like, it just brought up like hella old feelings. I'm like, ugh, I'm scared. But but anyway, so I want to tell you guys about this really popular folklore of the Pontiana. Um, Donna, does Filipino folklore have something like that, similar in the name, or no?
Say the name again?
Pontiana,
Pontiana?
Pontiana.
No, probably not. Tell the story. Maybe there's like a Filipino version of it.
Okay, so it's basically a Malaysian and Indonesian folklore, and it's a ghost figure that resembles black magic, and it's often preys on individual male person. So this ghost is actually like in the form of a woman with like long black hair
Like
and
The Grudge.
yeah, like the grudge. But
I had I couldn't imagine a person, but now you fucking gave me the grudge as my sample in my hand. I'm like, now the story got interesting. Okay, keep talking.
So the usual victims are guys, male persons, and they like to dig out the internal organs before they're tormented. And you can usually know that.
No,
Feel
shut the fuck up.
something?
Shut the fuck up. Bro, shut the fuck up. Don't do that. Don't fucking do that. My window's open right now. Don't fucking do that. Y'all were recording at nighttime, so it's not even funny right now.
Why do we do this to ourselves?
The one time or one of the few times that we decide to do this at night.
I need thunder in here. Oh my god. What was I saying?
Anyways.
So usually you can know when one is nearby is if you smell the fragrance of like plumeria. And yeah, it's a beautiful woman with long hair. And the thing is, it's usually described as a spirit of a woman who died during childbirth or pregnancy. And the reason she haunts is because she usually dies from like a violent death. So when you kind of split the name, the etymology of it, one is woman, like in Malay, and then mati is death, and ana is child. So put it together, it's a woman who has died of childbirth.
Childbirth?
Wow.
That fucks me up when I was small. Like, I don't know, like we would hear stories of like my grandma would never want my dad to drive by himself late at night because he was a hotel manager when I was growing up in a different city. So he would always only able to come back home on the weekend. So my grandma always wanted him never to drive by himself in the middle of the road because it's a mountainous road for him to get back to the main city. And there was a legend that a Pontiana haunts a really popular road on the mountains, and she would just appear either on the rear view mirror or in the middle of the road so that you swerve off of the mountain, because that mountain is really popular for people driving off the fucking cliff. So that's why every time my dad comes home safe, like I'm like jumping for joy. And fun fact, I actually have a scar on my chin. The only scar that I have on my face is because like I was like happy that he gets home and I just fell. But
oh my god.
just fun fact. That's how happy I was whenever my dad came home. But yeah. Ugh.
Ugh. Just the thought, just thinking like, oh damn, you're driving, and then fucking 1 minute later, some like lady with long ass hair pops up. Oh hell no.
Yeah.
Nope, not for me.
Okay, so to bring it more locally though, have you guys heard of like the haunted house at like Alum Rock or something?
Oh, and Hellier Road.
Yeah.
Hell yeah,
No.
dude.
Can
I
you tell that? I don't.
No, it's just like it's a house, but it's like I guess it's like in the closet there was like a lot of blood and like a lot of there was like a cry. It was like a death. But then I remember doing the one like on Milpitas and Calaveras area when you go up those hills, and then if you go down like a bridge, there's like a haunted house. And I remember being there with like it was two cars. I don't remember exactly how many people went in each car, but I remember like staying in the car because I was too fucking freaked out to go look at the house. I remember it was like, I think it was around September, October when we went there. It was like in high school and I went. And then all of a sudden, the fucking lights turn on in the house. Holy shit, dude. I think 8 people crammed into one car and we were driving down Calaveras Road, like, the little hill going down so fast because we wanted to get the fuck out of there. It was like the most scariest thing ever. Because I think we heard like a gunshot and the lights turned on and we were like fucking freaked out. But yeah, if you know what I'm talking about in Calaveras and all that Hellier, ooh, it's been a minute since I heard those stories, so
It's been a minute.
I ain't trying to like relive it and have it in my head when I'm trying to go to sleep, 30 minutes.
Yeah, so my uncle, when I was very little, I was gullible and still am to this day. So when I was little, my uncle would like torment me with ghost stories that he made up on the spot. and there was one ghost story that he would tell me where when you sleep at night and you don't cover your feet, you'll have a ghost pull your feet to to kidnap you. And I was so freaked out when I was little hearing that I could not sleep with my toes out of the blanket for like years because I was so scared that I would be pulled and kidnapped. So, yeah.
I mean, that's like the superstition where your bed is not supposed to face the door because the spirits can pull you out. But it's kind of that. Have you guys heard that one where you're not supposed to have your
No, but
bed?
my bed faces the door.
Like feng shui in a
No
way,
other
too,
place
though,
to
right?
put it.
Yeah, it's like a feng shui type of thing too. But the scary part is don't put your bed in front of the door because then the demons can pull you the fuck out.
Or like don't put mirrors in front of the door because you can reflect good luck out.
I just don't like having mirrors in the room in general because I don't like to like almost see something.
Don't be fucked up. I got
Oh my god, that reminds me. In the Philippines, when I said before I said like the wake is always at the house, right? You're supposed to cover the mirrors, like
Oh,
you're supposed to cover the mirrors because if you look in the mirror, you might see the spirit.
bruh.
Yeah.
Don't fucking do that. And then don't fucking scare the shit out of me. I'm like, what? Then every time when I was at the wake, I was like, fuck, no mirrors, please.
You can't even look at yourself. You don't even want to look at yourself.
No, I ain't trying to look at anything else.
Yeah, I have a mirror in my room, but I turn it around to face the wall when I don't need it because I don't want to accidentally see something. Yeah.
Listeners, we're the most scared people ever.
Yeah,
So
I'm sure our listeners will be like, "That's nothing."
we're just gonna hear a lot of breathing out because we're like, like
oh my god,
trying to catch our my heart is beating right now just thinking about everything.
So, what are some good superstitions that you guys follow?
It's good and bad, but if your left hand is itchy, you're losing money. But if your right palm is itchy, you're getting that dough.
Yeah.
That one I believe.
Really? Wait, so
Well, not believe, but I'll have a feeling because like every payday, my right hand is always like my little right palm is kind of a little itchy over here. I'm like, oh, must be payday this week. Maybe it's just an occurrence, but yeah, I kind of listen to that. And I like also not good thing, but like those 3 sneezes, that means like someone's thinking of you. Man, it makes me, oh, someone's thinking of me, good or bad, At least I got my name in their mouth. I'm just kidding.
I don't really have one. Oh, go ahead, Carol.
I don't follow this as much, but the term knock on wood, I get so paranoid about like not knocking on wood when it's like when you have to knock on wood. So say something like, oh, don't get lost in the woods or something like that, like just very generic. And it's like, oh, knock on wood. And then I'll have the need to actually knock on wood.
Yeah,
It doesn't happen. Yeah,
like
so I do that a lot.
Even if I don't see wood, I will just like knock on something. Like
I'll find some fake wood and be like knock on wood, just to like knock on something. I just get really I don't want anything bad to happen if I don't do it, so I just do it anyways. It doesn't hurt or harm me, so why not?
Even like when I'm walking with friends and we split the pole, like I'll try like not to split the pole just in case. No, I want to keep being friends with those people, so I'll go and I won't split the pole. So that one I do kind of stupidly follow still.
Oh, I remember that. One. For me,
I guess now it's just a habit just to not split the pole because I kept thinking about it when I was younger.
Yeah. Or like, this is so stupid, but when I was younger, it's like, if I yell peanut butter, you have to yell jelly, otherwise we can't be friends.
Oh, anytime.
Anytime. You guys have heard of that, right? Or like...
I haven't heard of that.
I have not heard of that.
Oh, you have not? But you have, Carol?
I have not.
Oh, you haven't? Okay.
Yeah.
Some fool was probably just messing with me then. But for me, it's like, it's more like praying. Like if we're gonna go on like a really long journey or like it's somewhere new, like my dad always like has this like little excerpt of prayer that he always says for like safe journey. Uh,
Mm.
that and then also whenever we pass by graveyards too, my grandma always um said to like recite this um verse from the Quran, for example, because it's kind of like donating to the dead, because that prayer kind of is like a well wishes to the past. And
Mm.
yeah, so every time we pass by a graveyard, it's for everybody. um
Mm.
yeah, I think that's it. I really don't remember. This is like bringing up so much memory. But if my grandma was still here, she would love it. But there was also a myth that my great grandma was a witch as well, which is like really frowned upon. Um, but I
She was a witch. She practiced witchery stuff.
yes, yeah. I was like, damn. I think it was because because like she lived in like a village, and either it was because of like she was trying to get the attention of like a guy, or I just found out that I'm part Indonesian too. So she's Indonesian and my grandpa was Malaysian. So they met when my grandpa was in Indonesia. So maybe she was trying to get his heart or something. But yeah, I never really get the details of it because my dad refuses to talk about it. Like it's still taboo. So that means like they still really believe in it, and like we're kind of like not that proud. But I don't know, maybe I should research. But
Yeah.
I kind of have the same like situation. Not I have a family who is a witch, but one family member was killed by witches. I don't know if this was my grandma or my great grandma or my great great grandma, but the story is she was one of the prettiest people in town, and she was able to have a lot of kids. And there was these witches who were jealous that one, she got, the hunkiest man of the town. Two, she was super pretty. And three, she had a bunch of, she was able to give birth, you know, health have healthy pregnancies. And this witch was jealous, so when they had this like a barangay festival, the witches were offered her a drink and poisoned her, and people think that she died because of a witch. I don't know which part of my family did it, but I'm like, fuck, I believe that. And every time my cousins told me this story, but when I asked like my aunt or my uncle or my dad, none of them want to tell me, to confirm or not confirm the story. Like it's up in the
yeah,
air. Like if you confirm that it's not true, then I'll shut my mouth. But if you don't confirm it, I'm gonna think it's true because you're
exactly.
just having it in the air.
Exactly.
So
Yeah.
I believe that. I'm like, oof, it was my family got killed by a witch, but that means they're the one of the prettiest people in town. I'll take it. I'm just kidding.
Mm,
Isn't it true that back in the day, like you could be accused for being a witch for basically anything that's like not normal?
Hmm.
exactly. Yeah, that's true
Yeah.
too.
So I don't know. I've never had any witch stories from my parents or great grandparents, so haven't heard of that.
I think it's more now like of spirits coming to you more than like actual like
Hmm.
witches and goblins coming at us.
Yeah. Yeah, I've heard friends and family like talk about how their family members would visit them in their dreams, either to, just say, I'm okay, how are you? Or just be like, I'm watching over you and stuff like that. So I think I dreamt about my grandmother when I was little, on my dad's side, because she passed away when I was in third grade. And she would like came into my dream once just saying she's watching over me.
But doesn't that kind of like lift your heart knowing that like they're at ease, they're actually resting in peace? Like that's the
Mm-hmm.
biggest thing, making sure that they rest in peace. Like I'll say that forever to anyone, rest in peace because I need y'all to be cool. We're good. I love y'all.
Right, right. Shall we get into fun fact?
Oh yeah. What's the fun fact? Is it
All
spooky
right.
too? Cause
Yeah,
it is.
it is. So, fun fact for the day, it is about Steven Spielberg, the famous director. So basically, Steven Spielberg thought his DVD of the film Paranormal Activity was haunted.
No
Because
way.
the yeah, so Spielberg, who actually so DreamWorks Studio is the production company that distributed Paranormal Activity, and I believe Steven Spielberg owns it or is part of it for some reason. So he took a DVD of the movie home to watch, but then got freaked out when the door to his bedroom locked by itself.
Oh fuck
And
that.
and so he carried the DVD after that to work in a trash bag because he thought it was haunted. Um, he loved the movie and even suggested a new ending, and the ending is what the audience ended up seeing in the theater release. So, just a fun fact.
Bruh. I was gonna say if it just closed by itself, I'm like, okay, that's the win. But if it locked
Locked?
by itself, that is not an
Yeah,
accident.
I know. If a door slams, it doesn't like slam and lock. You
Yeah.
have to
It
like
doesn't.
press a button or like twist something in order to lock it. So it's just like very weird. But
When you said that, I immediately like looked at my doorknob, making sure it doesn't lock on me right now.
Oh my god. That's a good
but
fun fact.
mhm.
Okay, wait. So I kind of this is bad timing, but like I also want to take the opportunity because it's Halloween, and you know what's one of the most famous and prominent icons of Halloween are black cats. And as you know, I have a lovely black cat named Thunder, and I just want to say, adopt black cats if you guys can. They're sweet. They don't bring bad luck, people. But yeah, I actually looked up the origin of like why black cats are like where the notion of like black cats bring bad luck come from. Would you guys want to know?
Yes,
Yes.
please.
Okay,
Yes,
so
tell us.
let me
So
read this.
while she's looking
Is
it
it witch
up,
related?
Yeah, it is.
Okay.
Yes.
It just reminds me of Sabrina the Teenage Witch, and she had a black cat named Salem, I think.
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So, in the Middle Ages in Europe, black cats were often associated with witches. In the 1560s in Lincolnshire, England, on a moonless night, a father and son were traveling when a black cat crossed their path. They pelted the cat with rocks until the poor animal fled into the home of a woman who at the time was being accused of being a witch. The next day, the father and son saw the woman who lived in the house. She was limping and bruised, so they assume witches can turn into black cats at night to roam around unobserved. So this belief spread to the US with its first settlers and was held firmly during the Salem witch trials.
Mm-hmm.
So
Oh.
that's why. But in other countries, for example, in Japan, black cats, and some parts of England as well, black cats are considered as good luck because some sailors would bring them on boats for safe travels too. Um, but yeah, it's just this is really unfortunate also. And when I adopted Thunder from the Humane Society, they actually warned me that since Thunder is like an outdoor indoor cat, like he loves to go out and then come back home, they were warning me not to let him go out on Halloween night specifically because a lot of mean people out there would catch black cats and like sacrifice them for witches on Halloween.
Oh my
So
So they're like,
god.
they'll
keep him
kidnap your
safe.
cat.
Yeah, so keep him safe and just don't let him out.
Oh my gosh.
So
Ah!
What
Oh,
if he's a
thunder.
wizard? What if Thunder's a wizard? We don't know.
Maybe. I really don't mind. Like, I kind of like, like being a witch. The thought of it.
Hey, Thunder is a smart ass cat. Let me tell you that. But it did creep me out when I saw him one time stretching, and it was actually those pictures of the cat, the screeching, and I'm like, oh, that's what it looks like in real life. Good to know. He's just stretching.
He does that all the damn time after he gets a lot of tuna.
Oh, Thunder.
But yeah. Anyway, so adopt black cats if you guys can. A lot of the adoptions actually do free adoptions of black cats when it's October.
Oh, nice. I'm allergic, but if I wasn't, I'll get a cat.
I already have a cat in this house, so I don't need another one.
Hey, they have 9 lives, so they'll come back.
All cats have 9 lives, yeah.
True. Cool. Well, that's it, right? Halloween episode down. Lots of good stories, good superstitions, crazy superstitions.
Yeah, share with us if you can on the comments on YouTube. If we missed a superstition or like there's a superstition that you're like, oh yeah, that was what my family told me too. So let us know.
Or even crazy ghost stories or paranormal, supernatural ghost stories. Like, feel free to tell us. I'd love to hear more stories that won't freak me out.
Or if you want to freak us out, that's fine too. I'll listen to it either way.
Even though I get freaked out, I can't turn away every time there's something scary.
Same.
Like, it's weird.
Yeah.
Yeah, I cannot watch horror movies or paranormal movies, but I love reading the synopsis about it.
Yeah, same.
So I can tolerate better when I read about it rather than visually see it.
Yes.
Not that I'm not interested, is that I can't watch it, because once it's visual, then that's all you see, right? But when you're reading it, at least your imagination will create something.
Yeah, you have a certain perception of how the story's going.
Exactly. So I would look up the synopsis and just read it that way, so I know exactly what happens
or when it's gonna happen.
Yeah, and then but I won't even try to watch the movie even after knowing what happens, because I'm just too scared.
Yeah. Can't catch me watching a scary or haunted or any of those type of horror movies. You can't catch me watching those.
But okay, so this is what I would do though. I would I wouldn't watch it, but I would watch it with whoever wants to watch it, but I'm under the blanket while reading the synopsis as the movie's happening.
Yeah, same.
So I
had to watch it,
that's so I can listen to it, but I know what's going on, but without watching it.
Yeah, it's like I'll be prepared to be scared, so I'm not that scared. No, I'm sorry.
Even then, it's even though you know it's gonna happen, you don't know what it's going to look like. So that's what scares me still, even if I know what's happening.
Yeah, that's inevitable. I'm gonna still be scared. Anything that pops up, I'm gonna always still be scared for sure.
Yeah.
Okay,
wait.
Ah!
What were you gonna say, Liana?
No, I was gonna say maybe we can close it off with one movie that just fucked you up because it was just so scary. Mine was The Conjuring. The scene of she just appears above your bed. Oh my god, I could not sleep for 2 weeks after that. But yeah,
mine is stupid because I when I watched it when I was 12 years old, I was scared. The movie was Prom Night because the main character's name was Donna. But when I rewatched it again, I wasn't as scared. But yeah, The Conjuring, that one was fucking me up. That and Prom Night, those 2 movies fucked me up.
I don't have a lot to choose from because I really try to stay away from watching those kind of movies. The last horror movie I watched was I think it's called Don't Breathe. It's just it's basically about 2 teenagers who want to rob an old man's inheritance money, or he had a safe that had a lot of money and they heard about it, so they wanted to rob him. And the old man is blind, so they were oh, it's easy, we can just walk past him and then grab it because he can't see us. But it was a very scary movie because even though he couldn't see, he could find people.
Give me the title. I'll read the synopsis of it.
I know.
Yeah, I think it's called Don't Breathe. To be
Okay.
honest, it wasn't that scary, but when I was watching it, I could not I could not watch it with just like watching it. I had to like close my eyes, plug my ears, and all that stuff. And then when I was little, going to Disneyland and sitting on the Haunted Mansion ride was very scary to me too, because all the like CGI, not CGI, what's that called? When you like go through the ride and then there's like the ghost dancing, I thought they were like real, and then I would like close my eyes and
Oh
plug in
my
my ears just
gosh.
so I can't like watch it. So I was very, very scared at a young age. All
Should we get?
right. That is it. End of the Halloween episode. We'll see you guys later, podcast people.
We out.
Yep.
Mwah, ha 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 ha.
Are you Dracula now?
It's Halloween theme. I got you. Okay. Bye guys.
Bye.